start with you, and let's start in the Sunshine State, which doesn't have a lot of sun this week, unfortunately, for any vacationers.
No, so that's the negative. The positive is we're going to get a lot of rain, and the clouds and the showers are going to knock down those 90s into the 80s. It has been scorching hot in Florida. People have been begging for rain. Here it comes. High pressure over the Bahamas. That means clockwise flow, so that helps pull the moisture up towards the peninsula, and there's a lot of tropical moisture that's going to be steered northbound. There's also a jet energy that's going to dip down, pull some of that moisture up, and we have a boundary and energy in the atmosphere over Florida that is going to wring all of this tropical moisture out, just like you do with a sponge. That's what we're going to see all the way really through the end of the week. It is nonstop for us. 5 to 8 inches. We can even see a foot of rain in some instances here. And so flooding is going to be a concern, central all the way down through South Florida. And with the majority of that rain falling here on the west coast, because the flow is coming from the west to the east. So we start out cloudy, then we get rain as we go through the day and really into the afternoon. Tuesday is when we really get a punch of showers into Florida, from Tampa to Orlando to Fort Myers. I'm so sorry if this is your week at the beach. You're going to be so upset, but hopefully we can figure out something else fun to do. And then the showers just continue to pummel the whole real state. Up through Tallahassee, we'll even get some of those showers as well. Now, Tampa isn't too bad when it comes to rainfall. Sarasota is over 4.5 inches below average on rain, so we really need it there. And there are a lot of cities that could use it, but I mean, it is non-stop rain. But notice our temperatures down into the 80s, even the mid 80s at times, even the low 80s at times with the showers coming in. So Tuesday, you see that there is heavier rain across the entire state. And then as we go into our Wednesday, it doesn't stop. And frankly, this is the same story as we head into our Thursday and even into our Friday, too. We get some into the Panhandle, but the worst of the rain will be into Central and South Florida, which is good and bad. It's bad because we have that flood threat, but this is exactly where that drought has been intensifying and expanding, Molly.
So that's at least a little bit of good news. I want to take you city by city in Florida and talk about some of the timing, some of the impacts, how much rain we might see, starting in the Fort Myers area. And this could easily be some of the heaviest rain that we see across South Florida, where we will likely see some pockets of 8 to maybe even 12 inches of rain. Just depends on exactly where some of these training thunderstorms set up. But broad brush, we're talking 6 to 8 inches of rain easily. That is going to make for a miserable drive on 75. Your windshield wipers going full speed. Sometimes it's even difficult for them to keep up in these tropical downpours that we see in Florida this time of year. Let's get the timing for you, because that's important as you're trying to plan out your week. We will see on and off showers today. Another big plume of moisture moves in for tomorrow, and that's going to keep us in the rain pretty solidly throughout the day. Maybe a few dry times that you can run the dog outside real quick and then run back inside, or maybe head to the grocery store. But as a whole, Tuesday looks very wet. But it's not just Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, all the way into Friday. This is what Steph was talking about, though. It's going to take our temperatures down a few notches. It was extremely hot over the weekend, and because of that, there were some heat advisories in Florida around the Orlando area. Those heat indexes were in the triple digits, and that includes in Miami, where we're also going to be seeing rain, 5 to 6 inches of rain. Again, that's broad brush. We could pick up maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain and 1 thunderstorm in the Miami area with the amount of moisture that's in the atmosphere right now. So be really careful. I know there's parts of Miami that can flood really easily because of all of the urban sprawl and development in the area, all the asphalt, areas that don't drain as well as others. Be really careful, especially as we head towards the later half of the week and the rain amounts really start to stack up in places. Monday today looks like one of the better days of the week. So if you have any plans you want to fit in, I would do it today before we really start to see the moisture take over for the remainder of the week. But Felicia, this is not the only problem that we're watching in the Sunshine State right now. Front range, but we could see hail and damaging wind, lightning, flooding all across the southeast, where it's been pretty unsettled for the past couple of days and will remain so all the way through the upcoming week, especially for Florida, as we've talked about. Now, this is a loop for the overnight hours. You can see the activity that blossomed through the Atlanta area. Those were likely the storms that woke up Steph through the overnight hours, all the way into the Carolinas for now. This is just round one. We'll We'll see more storms that fire up, and this instability that's been untouched through the overnight hours. By the way, San Antonio getting quite a bit of rain and some thunderstorms this morning. Charleston seeing some rain to start off your Monday morning. Florence also seeing rain, but this is quickly moving off to the east, so it's not going to hang around for a long time this morning in South Carolina. But then we'll see more thunderstorms that bubble up in the heat of the day. This is such a classic summertime pattern that could produce feisty thunderstorms around the Savannah area, but anywhere from Charleston, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Pensacola, Mobile. I'll tell you what, Pensacola, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, sweltering this weekend. So rain could be a very welcome thing to kind of knock down some of those temperatures this afternoon. As we get to the peak heating hours of the day, that's when we see storms bubble up, and in classic summertime fashion, if they don't have a lot of movement, they'll eventually rain themselves out. But these do tend to have a little bit more movement with them this afternoon, even lingering into the evening and overnight hours. Even after you go to bed, there's still some thunderstorms out there feeding off the lingering instability. We also have storms in Texas today, all the way up through New Mexico and the front range of the Rockies. Once again, looking at some storms that could be producing hail. I know we're tired of the hail in Colorado, especially in the Denver area, but more is possible today. Also, some straight line damaging winds in the Texas area, Lubbock all the way through the Abilene area. You see that backward C shape, that straight line damaging winds on high-risk future radar, and it eats away at the instability, but it builds back in very quickly by tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Dallas, Waco, Austin, you could see some delays if you're traveling on any of the interstates, and then down through portions of South Texas, which has also been extremely hot as of late. Let's check in with the Austin area and parts of the Hill Country for today. You'll see thunderstorms this afternoon, scattered, but then we get to tomorrow, another chance right as we get into the early morning hours. Felicia?
Thanks, Molly. Well, time now for your Monday morning front lines. Rounding out a nice long weekend and traveling today. If you did, welcome to Monday. I hope you have smooth travels. Could be impacted by weather, though. You can see our forecast wherever you see the little gold bubbles here, from Orlando up through Atlanta, much of Texas, all the way out to Seattle. We could see some weather-related airport impacts, so keep that in mind. Of course, those delays don't always have to be for bad weather where you are. It could be for where your plane is coming from, so that's always something that can kind of catch you. Dealing with some fog out there this morning, a dense fog advisory stretching from Bristol all the way over through Nashville, getting into Jackson, Tennessee as well. Portions of the I-40 corridor are going to be stuck in some dense fog at times, so keep that in mind. You can see our visibility around Nashville, at least at the airport there, is 4 miles, but where you see these darker kind of shading colors, that is indicative of some lower visibility. You could be driving along just fine right along I-40, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in greatly reduced visibility. So give yourself some extra time for this Monday morning. Up to about 1.5 miles in London. That's an improvement over the 1/4 mile that we were earlier about an hour ago. Some thunderstorms have been racing toward the coast here of South Carolina. That's going to close in on you in Charleston. Myrtle Beach probably woke you up this morning with that thunder and lightning. Wet on 95 in some places. Some of those storms could be a little bit feisty. We've got that possibility for some damaging winds, a bit of hail as well as we move through the day today. 75 and 95 down through the Sunshine State. Going to be more like the rain state today, especially for those main corridors. It is going to be one of those days where you just have to accept that everyone around you, not you, but everyone around you is a terrible driver. So give yourself some extra time and pack your patience. That's what I tell myself every morning when I head out. Give yourself some extra time. You're going to have heavy rain. You're going to have that possibility for flash flooding, some gusty winds as well. Tuesday, we're keeping that rain in the forecast, and then it continues for the next several days. Molly, do you do that too, Molly? You just remind yourself that no one else can drive except you, so you got to give yourself some extra.
Instead of the classic, it's not you, it's me. Felicia's like, no,
it's not me, it's all of you. And the rain.
It's difficult to drive in the rain, though. It's stressful, and we have a lot of that. A lot of
Storm of tropical moisture is heading for Florida. Round after round of downpours are on the way. Some spots could see 5 to 8+ inches of rain. You want the umbrella, you want the hat, you want the raincoat, the pants, the boots. You want all the things, Felicia.
And a nap, probably, with that type of weather. Well, the Sunshine State isn't the only place lacking sunshine. Several different regions are at risk for severe weather. We'll dive into each just ahead. Molly?
And helping fuel all of those storms, check out this heat. By Thursday, over 140 million of us will feel temperatures above 90 degrees. And by this Friday, that heat will start to creep into the Northeast, where it's been very nice as of late. By Friday, there is no hiding that summer is here. Now, this is America's Morning Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Molly McCullum alongside meteorologists Felicia Combs and Stephanie Abrams. Let's start with Steph. She is talking about the Sunshine State this morning, which really has a serious lack of sun.